Hello everybody. Y'all know I be having these dreams, and I just got the green light from God to go ahead and release this, and it's burning in my belly, so I gotta let it out. So y'all know I be having these dreams. I'm not on Facebook at the moment. I am on a fast. I don't plan on getting back on Facebook until like early December, but I have to release this. So if you don't have nothing to do, watch this video. This was definitely a prophetic dream. Whenever I woke up, God was still talking to me concerning the dream. So I knew he wanted me to release it. I just couldn't release it until I got the full revelation. I didn't want to just give y'all bits and pieces and not tell y'all everything that I saw in the dream and encountered. So I'm going to just jump right into the dream. This is a good one, so y'all really pay attention to what I'm saying. At the end, I'm going to break everything down, because we know that God speaks, through symbols and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm gonna break it down at the end, but I'm gonna just talk my way through the dream right now, and then at the end, I'm going to tell y'all what everything means. So in the beginning of the dream, I was at the beach, and I noticed that in front of me was like this really tall tower, kind of like a oceanfront resort, but it was really tall, and it was a beautiful tower, just really tall. And I just noticed, I looked up in the sky, and I noticed that the clouds were gray. It was getting ready to storm, and the beach was covered with people, and out of nowhere these waves came. Now this is what's crazy. The waves didn't come from the ocean. The waves came from in front of us and was pushing us backwards. So yeah, you think of a tsunami, and you know how strong a tsunami is, and whenever it comes, it's pushing everything forward. Well, these waves was coming from in front of us and pushing us backwards. So I'm fighting my way. I'm trying my hardest to get to the building, and I'm fighting my way to get to this building, and the more I try to get up close to the building, the waves were just pushing me back. I noticed people around me were dying. They were drowning. The waves were so intense that it was breaking people's limbs. Like this one girl died in front of me. Her arm broke off. People were just dying all around me, and I'm fighting to get to this building. And I finally caught a break, because it was like the waves had kind of calmed down. So I was like, this is my chance to fight. Lord knows I can't swim, but I was swimming, and I was just trying to get up there, and I got halfway there, and then this big wave came and it pushed me back again, but somehow I ended up making it to the building. And when I got to the building, I was crawling on my stomach and was like going up the stairs with my hands. My body was weak, so I was going up the stairs with my hands, and I made it inside of the building. So when I got inside of the building, you could see straight to the front of the building, and looking through the windows, I could see that there was a wave that was getting ready to come and completely just destroy this building. So I just moved over to the side, and I was just like, this is it. Like, this is it. I done fought my way to this tower, and here comes this strong wave getting ready to take this building down. The longer I sat there, the longer the building stood up. It didn't fall or anything, and I was just like, that wave was huge, and I'm sitting there like just waiting for it to just come tumbling down, and it never did. So I ended up trying to find my family, and while I was looking for my family, this woman came up to me. She was hurt. Her shoulder was bruised, and I took my hand and I was rubbing her shoulder, healing her shoulder. She was showing me something outside that had fell on her while she was out there, and so I ended up going. So I walk outside, and I'm still looking for my family at this point. But before I could find them, I ran into this other group of people that I knew. They were just sitting outside in their vehicle, and I was like, find shelter. I remember I just kept saying, y'all need to find some shelter. And so I ended up walking over to the side. And whenever I walked over to the side, there was these two boats. And these two boats were like Noah's Ark. Like, that's how they look. When you look in the Bible and you see how Noah's Ark looked, how they drew it out, like that's how those two boats looked. And on one of the boats was the number 21. And the boats were guarded by these two men, and nobody could get over there. And I was just like, I heard my sister's voice. Then I heard my nephews. So I was like, oh my gosh, my sister, like, they're alive. They they didn't drown, they didn't die. So I was asking the guards, could I go through? These guards, they weren't letting anybody through, but they were so nice to me. They were like, yeah, sure, go through. So I remember walking past the boat. I could see the two big old boats. I remember seeing the number 21 on the boat. And then I remember hearing my nephew say my name. And when he said my name, I looked, and they were inside of that tower. So I ended up making my way back inside of the tower. And they were hugging on me, and they were loving on me. And I ended up going to the back of the tower. And whenever I went to the back, I was able to look out the back window at all of the dead bodies floating in the water. And I remember saying to myself, I was saying it out loud. I said, they're not supposed to be floating like that. Like, they're dead. Like, all you could see was their heads. Like, they were like swimming in the water. And I was thinking it to myself, but I said it out loud. I said, they're not supposed to be floating like that. And then this man, so I remember just looking at how their bodies were positioned, and just my discernment radar went off, and I was like, something is not right. And I just kept saying, they're not supposed to be floating like that. And this man came up and he said, the government lied to y'all. And when he said that, I ended up looking outside again. And there was this man who was taking bodies out of the water. Some of the bodies were real, and some of the bodies were mannequins. Okay, so now we have a review of the dream. We know we have a tsunami, waves pushing us in the opposite direction. We have this big tower building. We have two boats that look like Noah's Ark, and on one of the boats has the number 21. I hear this man say to me that the government lied, and then I see a man taking bodies out the water that were real and fake. So yeah, let's break it down. So God made it perfectly clear. That tall building represents him. He's our strong tower. The job of the enemy is not to push God's people close to him. It's to push God's people further away from him. So that's why the waves were pushing us in the opposite direction. Instead of pushing us forward, it was pushing us backwards. Then the two boats with the number 21, he made it very clear that the 21 represents sin and judgment. And just like the Bible says that it will be like in the days of Noah. So I think that's what the boats were representing. And then to hear the man say the government lied. And then I saw Proverbs 18:10 tells us that he is our strong tower, and the righteous man runs into him and he's safe. I think that's what he was trying to show me, that me running into him, I found shelter and I was safe. So he represented shelter in the time of a storm. Going around to see the two boats that looked like Noah's Ark, that they were guarded. They were guarded by these two men. I told my husband I think that they were angels because they were tall. They were very nice. And seeing they were guarding those two boats. And one of the boats had the number 21 on it. And God made it perfectly clear that it represents sin and judgment. And you know how the Bible says that it will be just like in the days of Noah. Then whenever I went back inside and I saw the dead bodies floating, and I was like, something's not right. And the man said the government lied. And then I saw the man bring in the fake bodies with the real bodies, and I was like, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. So I'm going to break it down for y'all. I'm going to tell y'all exactly what the Father is saying in this hour. He's saying, tell my people, don't look to the left, don't look to the right, don't look at the news, don't listen to the government. The only way you're going to be safe in this hour is if you seek shelter in him. If you hide yourself in him, that's the only way that you will be protected. And I have a lot of people that has reached out to me asking me about they keep seeing 9/11 on the clock. I want to encourage y'all to go read Psalms 91 9 through 11. It talks about how God is our shelter, and those who hide in Him, He will protect you. And it speaks to what's going on. Every time I see 9/11 on the clock, I just fall on my knees and start praying. Ask God for protection for whatever the enemy is trying to do. But yeah, I've had people reach out to me about that. It just means seek Him, ask Him for protection, hide yourself in Him in this hour, because the boats and the sin and the judgment, God is saying that His wrath is getting ready to fall on the United States like never before. We are getting ready to see the wicked punished. The wicked is getting ready to get punished for what they have done, the lies and the deceit, pushing God's people further and further away from Him. In this hour, we are going to have to keep our loved ones covered in prayer, especially the ones that went out, and I hate to say it, the ones that went out and got this vaccination. Y'all are definitely going to have to keep them in your prayers. And when I say keep them in your prayers, I mean that wholeheartedly. For God has shown me the hand of the enemy, and I know exactly what he's trying to do. Whenever I had the dream about Pfizer, I'm not somebody who follows this coronavirus. I never really cared. I just threw my mask on and went on about my business. But whenever I had that dream, that was God's way of letting me know, I have preserved you, my child, for such a time as this, and I will speak His warnings. I will do exactly. He's saying those who continue to listen to the government, those who continue to listen to the lies, they will continue to drift further and further away from Him. He said they don't believe that He can heal their bodies for real. He said they have no faith in Him. They don't believe that He can deliver them. They don't believe that He can restore them. They don't believe that if they get sick that He can heal them. He said this is the hour where we are getting ready to see the real from the fake. He's getting ready to separate the holy from the unholy, and He's saying, be not deceived, my children. He said, y'all are getting ready to be shocked. Some of y'all are getting ready to be shocked, because what He's getting ready to expose, a lot of y'all think that just because they dress up well every Sunday and they stand in the pulpit and preach the gospel, that they're God's people. But God is saying they are not my people. They are not from me. And He said, I'm getting ready to expose the enemy all across the board, in the government and in the church. He said, tell my children that I am enough. I am enough. He said, tell my children that if they seek shelter in me, and if they make me their dwelling place, that no pestilence will come near them, and every storm will jump over their house. Let them know that I am still the God who's in control. Let them know that I see what's going on, for I sit up high and I look down low, and I will cover them, and I will shield them, and I will protect them from all tricks of the enemy. But tell them that they must keep their eyes focused on me. They must have their ears pointed in my direction. They cannot look to the left nor to the right. They cannot be swayed by the government. They cannot be swayed in any other direction, because if they do, they will drift away from me. He said, you cannot get lost in this hour, because if you get lost in this hour, you will be left out there to feel His wrath. You will be caught up in the midst with the wicked. He said, tell my children it's time to wake up. Tell my children it's time to wake up, for I'm speaking loud and clear. Stay away from that vaccination, for it is the trick of the... We are in a time where you got to have faith. You have to have faith that He's the God that's going to carry you all the way through. You have to have faith, because the times that we're in, the enemy is moving like never before. And God is saying to me, His wrath is getting ready to fall on the United States like never before. And I've seen in the spirit, I saw the earthquake, I saw the hurricanes, I saw the tsunamis coming, I saw it all coming, and I saw people running in terror, and they had the look of horror on their faces, and there was nothing that I could do. And I'm like, what's going on in these people? He said they don't take heed to my warnings. They're not my people. I saw pastors and people that I used to listen to, and he said they're not my people just because they dress. He's saying that they're not His people. And I'm like, how they're not your people? They preach the gospel. And He had to let me know, just because they preach don't mean that they're my people. The church and the government has formed an alliance, and they are in cahoots with each other. And God is saying I'm removing my remnant out the church because I refuse to let the venom spread to my people. He's saying it's time for y'all to wake up. It is time for y'all to wake up. What's it going to take? And my heart was broken. I've had family members to go out and get the shot, even after I had the Pfizer dream. And I remember crying out to God. And I asked him why they don't believe me. Why they don't listen. Why they not taking heed. My heart was broken. And he told me that I have to be okay with speaking the truth. Even when the amens are low. I have to not look for praise whenever I speak the truth. And I have to expect not everybody to not believe what he's telling me. And it hurts. Because I want people to wake up. But he told me that I have to be okay with moving forward. Leaving people behind. And I don't know why God chose me to carry this. And it's hard sometimes. Dreams. Night. I have attacks. It's a beautiful gift. I'm not even gonna lie. Cause you know, I've encountered angels, fought some demons, and it's a beautiful gift, but you go through a lot to have to carry it. And last year I remember hearing so clear in the spirit that I would do something that's never been done. And so maybe God just preserved me for such a time as this. I will speak the truth every time he gives it to me.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrow